Okay, these are again roles and responsibility of the Shari'ah Committee. Again, I'm taking this from the guideline from the Central Bank of Malaysia, because when I see some other guidelines, it is more or less about the same. Okay, and I can see that what we have in the Central Bank of Malaysia is more comprehensive compared to the others. Okay, these are among the roles to advise the Board of Directors on Shariah matters in its business operation, in which I'm not sure to what extent that this is happening at the moment. Okay, because I'm not aware of any bank, okay, in which the Board of Directors, okay, have Shariah input or direct Shariah input. Indirect Shariah input, yes. In Malaysia, the Board of Directors of banks are required by the central bank to undergo trainings, and there is one component in the training in which they are given the training related to Islamic finance. Okay, so generally they have some information. Okay, if of course the training is effective, then they have the information. But ideally, I believe that okay, Sharia people should represent, okay, in the decision making, particularly in the Board of Directors, and I can see that there are some talks in the market that this should happen. Second, to endorse Sharia compliant manual. Each and every institution should have Sharia compliant manuals, but I'm not sure whether all have or not. But at least I know that in Malaysia it is mandatory for the financial institution, because it is required by the central bank that the institution must have Sharia compliant manual, so it has to be endorsed by the advisor to endorse and validate relevant documentation. This is another thing. All legal documentation that have to go through the Sharia board. Now, the duty of the Sharia person is to look at the document whether it contains anything, okay, that is against the requirement of Sharia or not. Right? There might be legal requirements. Okay, as an example, if it is a contract, there might be certain provision related to the Contract Act, you see, to the Hire Purchase Act or whatever act that is governed by a particular product, but usually that is taken care of by the lawyers. But the Sharia people, they are supposed to look at the documents and to ensure that there is nothing which is against the Sharia requirement. Now, this really need the Sharia people to be expert into looking at the documents, and I strongly believe that we still lack this kind of expertise, particularly in the Sharia. In fact, in ISRA, one of the things that we are doing is that to train the Sharia advisor on how to look into the legal documentation and what they have to look and what not. To assist related parties on Sharia matters for advice or for requests, to advise on matter to be referred to the Sharia Advisory Council of the Central Bank. In Malaysia, whenever a particular product is presented by a bank to the Central Sharia Board, then there must be a representative from the Sharia Board of the bank, okay, in presenting their view. So that is the requirement. So that is also their role to provide written Sharia opinion. This is challenging, I would say, because usually Sharia opinions, arguments, is recorded in the minute of the Sharia meeting. Now, it is a real challenge to extract, you see, these fatwas, views, opinion, okay, as well as the argument from the minutes and putting it, as a Sharia decision. In fact, just to share with you, that is now what at present we are assisting the central bank actually to look at all the minutes and extracting the view, and we hope by the end of this year at least that will be published, the decision plus all the what are the basis for the decision. Simply because why we are doing this, simply because again coming back to the amendment in the Central Bank Act 2009, it is mandatory for the court to refer to the written decision of the Shari'ah Advisory Board of the Central Bank of Malaysia. I mean, this of course, some people might dispute why are you restricting the judges. Okay, but from our point of view, we are looking at the consistency of on the legal side. You see, so at least there is a standard, okay, decision that is being followed by the court, and they have to recognize that this is the highest authority that is giving ruling related to Shari'ah in finance matter, okay, in the country. So this is the authority, and the court have to refer to the authority. To assist the Shari'ah Advisory Council on reference for advice, if there is anything that needs to be done. Okay, we come to the financial institution. What are their duties and their responsibility? I believe that it is a reciprocal kind of arrangement. Which is an advisor have their duty at one their own duty, and the financial institution must also have, their own duty, particularly when it comes to disclosing the information. Because I know of some banks, some financial institutions, if you don't ask them, they don't disclose certain information in which those information are critical in making some Shariah decision. I believe that it is very unethical, okay, to do this, okay, except that sadly to say that I think sometimes not many Shariah people know, okay, what are the right question to be asked in order to dig the right information from the banks, because most of them they are trained, okay, in the Shariah area, but they are not trained in the finance area. So we hope that in the future we will have Shariah advisors who have the blend of knowledge in Shariah as well as in finance. Okay, these are among the roles and responsibility: to refer all Shariah issues to the Shariah Committee, to adapt the Shariah Committee's advice, to ensure that product documents be validated, to have Shariah compliant manual to provide access to relevant documents, to provide sufficient resources, to remunerate the members of the Shariah Committee. Now, let me tell you that it is mandatory for the bank or for the financial institution to take up, to follow whatever decision that is being made by the Shariah. And this is important. And I would say that, it must be there, okay, in whichever provision, either in the article of association of the financial institution, or through the guidelines that is issued by the regulator, or by other legal means. Meaning that the decision of the Shariah Board must be mandatory to be followed by the financial institution. It is not a question of whether you want to take it or not. You see, because at the end of the day, if that is the case, then that will affect the integrity of the product. Okay? In the case of Malaysia, it is there, even in the Act, in the Islamic Banking Act, that it is mandatory for the financial institution to take up or to follow the Shariah decision that is issued by the Shariah Advisory Council of the bank. Alright. Shariah Board is associated with giving advice on Shariah matter, issues fatwa pointing to the halal and haram element in the operation and service endorsement role only. However, nowadays they need to participate in the biggest sphere of Islamic finance, which include innovating new marketable products and exploring alternative contracts and models, as well as pushing the noble agenda of Islam and promoting the maqasid of Sharia. I always believe in this. You see that the role of Sharia advisors should not stop at looking from the legal perspective. I look at the structure, okay, fine. I mean, there is nothing in the structure that is against the Shari'ah requirement. But as it is now, okay, I'm not aware that the Shari'ah advisors has gone beyond that. Okay, particularly, let's say, in assessing the economical impact of a particular product. Nowadays, sometimes people are talking about, how, should we balance between the equity and the debt instrument that is available in the market. Okay, and as you are aware probably, that the majority instrument that is being used in Islamic finance nowadays are debt-based instruments. Okay, basically, I mean, they are based on murabahas. Now, is this the ideal model or not? Okay, I think we need to assess, okay, and look beyond the legal aspect of Islamic finance, or the fiqhi aspect of Islamic finance, and look at the impact. If, okay, there is a negative impact, okay, of over leveraging, let's say, on a particular instrument, then that should be stopped. I mean, we should strike the balance. By the end of the day, I think the challenge is to prove that. I mean, that is that is one of the issue. As a Sharia person, okay, if I do not have the information, okay, to say that yes, I mean, there is a clear indication, okay, or clear data showing that such a product does not lead, or I mean, is leading to an evil, then I cannot say that it is against the Shari'ah requirement, because this is the question of halal and haram, what is valid and invalid. Okay, I cannot say that something which is valid is invalid simply based on assumption. I must have a clear indication, a clear data, a clear evidence saying that yes, I mean, the implication is negative, then only I can say that, I mean, it is against. So I think moving forward, okay, the Sharia advisor should be